Well, a mother, a real mother, is the most wonderful person in the world. She's the angel voice that bids you good night, kisses your cheek, whispers, sleep tight.
This is the detention center in Tokyo, and I came here to visit my mother. And this is the first day in visitation this year. So I came here to tell her Happy New Year and see how she's doing. I try to visit her every week. We can only visit her for 8 minutes. Each day she can have only one visitation. When I come here to visit her, it is actually impossible for me to have physical contact. We have this glass separating us. Like today, it's New Year. When we want to greet each other, we would greet each other on that glass.
This is the mother we're told to expect. Gentle, domestic, always there. But what if your mother was a revolutionary fugitive?
My name is Mei Shigenobu. I consider myself to be both Arabic and Japanese. For 28 years, I was not registered anywhere in the world, let's say. I was a non-existent person. The first child for a revolutionary family, you're not living a normal life situation. You have a mother, you have a community, you have a life on the run, you have an identity that's underground and all that. It's not the normal kind of life. My mother was actually born in 1945, which is the year the Second World War ended. She was born in Tokyo. She was in her mother's womb still when there was bombing of Tokyo. And so she remembers her mother telling her about how difficult it was for her to, escape all the shelling and all the war effects. My mother, when she graduated from high school, she was a typical Japanese girl who was very much focused on having a stable family, living the Japanese normal life. The day she was going to start her university days, she saw some kind of protest, some students sitting down on the street. This protest was actually against the tuition increase. So as a person who was providing for herself and trying to pay for her own tuitions, she immediately thought, yes, I'm against tuitions being raised. So she joined the protest. And that's where she started this activist life.
Fusako Shigenobu grew up with war still echoing in her home. But in the 1960s, she made a different kind of choice. She chose revolution and didn't look back. Mei wasn't born for a cause. She was born because her mother loved her. But there were no safety nets, no citizenship, no lullabies.
My life as a child was on the move all the time. Sometimes we would live inside the refugee camps. But of course, being Japanese and having these Asian features, it wasn't so safe to be among refugees and stand out. So our stay in the refugee camp wouldn't be that long. When we were there, we would, for example, share a room inside the whole family's house. You would have 20 people sharing 2 rooms or 3 rooms. As a community of Marxists living together, we always had a big family of many aunts and many uncles and many fathers and many mothers. Of course, we know that we're not blood related, but we really consider ourselves to be one family. And Until I was about junior high school, I saw my mother quite often. But then after that, it was very rare that we would be together because of security reasons. I think if you add up all the time that we were together in my lifetime, it wouldn't really come to 5 years maybe, or 6 years or something like that. Very small amount of time, but for me, I value every single moment.
How she was like a bit discreet, calm, mysterious. And I like mystery.
Well, after leaving Lebanon, I remember having to move to many countries and having to change many schools. All in all, my most stable life and most stable years were the years since I started to come to university here in AUB. Since 1992, I've had the same name, the same background, the same friends. When you get really close to people, you don't want to lie to them, but my whole life was about given identities, so I had to lie. Because if I was looking suspicious in any way, then that could eventually affect the security of not just me, but my mother and her comrades. That day was a day where I had morning classes in the Lebanese university. I got a phone call from a friend. They says, is your family okay? And there's something on the news, and I'm not sure, but I think there's bad news about your mother. I could sometimes see the NHK, which is the Japanese national television. It's not very clear, but I could see a figure, and I could tell it was my mother. It was very, very shocking for me, but I saw that message, the message that I'm okay. She had her thumbs up when she was arrested. I expected this kind of thing to happen someday. We were not living in a dream world. We knew that living in the underground couldn't last with today's world situation. But I didn't expect it to happen that quickly. In 2001, she published a book. This book was the first book where she describes her relationship with me. The first book where people read her in a feminine, motherly way. Because until then, she used to write many books that are, more revolutionary kind of writing, hardcore. Because, for 28 years, I was not registered anywhere in the world, let's say. I was a non-existent person. So she had to prove, or she had to give my life story in a way to prove that she's my mother. She had to write a kind of a report for the Japanese Foreign Ministry. And she actually wrote it in a very, very bad condition. She had no table, no nothing. She was just, kneeling on the floor, writing it in a very, very quickly. And, less than 1 month, she finished writing the whole book. 30, 40 years ago, the only way to reach the media was through doing an operation. And then you would give your statement, why you're doing that kind of operation and what's your cause. But today, I think there are many other ways of reaching media. You have the internet, where you can disperse your own information and your own thoughts. You have a chance of reaching other people in the world. So that's another way of fighting for the right cause. I'm a journalist now, and I'm a TV anchor. I can support my mother by supporting her cause. If I can spread the news that there is a just cause in the Middle East and Palestine, it would show that her fight was not a useless one.
The co-founder of the Japanese Red Army terror group, Fusako and Shigenobu, has been released from prison after serving a 20-year sentence.
The co-founder of the Japanese Red Army has been released from a Tokyo prison after serving a 20-year sentence.
メイは命のメイで革命のメイ。お母さんとしてすっごい上手なお母さんだし、先生としてすごい上手な先生。いつでも尊敬してた。誇りに思ってた。
今までですか？
今で。